Today we're going to be testing some myths that have been in the industry for a long time and some that you guys actually sent in, like can a compensator hurt you with muzzle blast? Are revolvers more reliable than striker-fired handguns? But first, how accurate is a shotgun spread in video games?
Today we're using a Mac 1014, which is a Benelli M4 clone. We have some cardboard set up with some shoot and see targets. We're also going to take some measurements here. We got one roughly at 10 yards, 25, and close to 50. We're going to be using double-aught buck, 9 pellets, pretty similar to what you'd see in most video games. Let's go try it.
Counter-Strike 2 is the game we are going to be using. It is a modern tactical shooter that gives us the capabilities to test a gun at different distances. We are definitely excluding headshots in this testing.
Coming out here to 10 yards, we're using a cylinder bore choke. Try to give video games a little bit of benefit of the doubt for their spread. Cylinder bore should give us the most amount of spread at any given distance, which you're probably going to want to use it for buckshot anyway. So we're here at 10 yards. Let's give it a go. We're at our 10-yard target. Actually spread out pretty good here. Looks like our widest spread is roughly 8 inches, 8.5. From here to here.
In Counter-Strike, when we're set up at 10 yards, we're seeing a slightly larger spread. The big problem is when it comes to damage. In the game, it's showing very little damage done to the target, but in real life, that would hurt a lot more. These rounds would do a lot more damage to you. Honestly, I'm really surprised at how accurate the game has been this far. I was expecting much worse.
Let's go to 25 yards, see what it comes out to. Take a look at the target here. We have all except one pellet. These are the farthest deviation here. You got to keep in mind, each one of these double-aught buck pellets is roughly half the weight of a 9mm and about the same diameter, but they're moving just slightly faster at around 1,400 feet per second. If you look here, our largest deviation minus the one flyer is roughly 24.5 inches center to center, which, as you can see, is roughly from my nose to my pelvis, which would still really be a bad day.
Here again, we're seeing a slightly wider spread with only 4 shots hitting the target. In real life, we've seen 8 shots hit, so there's only about 50% accuracy. Seems to be opening up quite a bit in the game compared to real life. I honestly think 8 shots would be lethal at this distance, whereas in the game, he only took 36% damage, so kind of not very impressive. Overall, we're getting a little bit less accurate with the game.
We're out at 50 yards. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see us test some other myths, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let's shoot one round, double-aught buck, 50 yards, see how it prints. Looks like we got 4 hits on target. Got one here, one here, one here, and one just off the edge here. Keep in mind, this is one round of double-aught buck at roughly 50 yards. You're more than likely gonna fire 2-3 rounds if you're engaging a target at this distance. Even with a rifle, you'd be firing 2-3 rounds. 48 inches across from the biggest spread. The 2 right here in the center, roughly 14 inches. That's about the width of a chest. You got like a 40% hit rating with 1 round, 4 pellets being on target, 5 being off.
This is where the game really surprised me. It was much more realistic to what we've seen in real life. There was only about 2 to 3 rounds that hit the target in the game, and in real life it was 3 to 4. So it was a lot closer and a lot more realistic. When it comes to damage, again, not very much damage was done. However, we're not sure what this would look like in real life and how much damage it would actually do.
So video game shotguns aren't super far off from the truth. I think there is a little bit more range than they give them credit for in most video games. We're off to check out the next myth.
We're gonna load a P320, point it in a safe direction and see if it goes off. For the next myth, we are going to test to see if a revolver is going to perform better in dirt over a striker-fired handgun. Here we have a Ruger GP100 and a Glock 19. We're going to be throwing them in this Ohio dirt, and if they perform well, we're gonna add some water to it, make it mud. Now we're gonna test it and see what happens.
We're gonna try the Glock 19 Gen 5 striker-fired first in the dirt, see how it runs. We're gonna do this test, empty chamber, loaded mag in the gun. Gonna toss it in, throw some dirt on top of it, shake it around a little bit, really get it in there. Flip it over, do the same thing to the other side. Gonna give it a slight tap, make sure there's nothing in the barrel, see how it shoots. Little gritty, but still chambered fine. After a mag out of this gun, seemed to function flawlessly.
Now we got the revolver. We're hammered down on an empty chamber. Let's throw it in the dirt and see how a revolver will do. Okay, first one. Let's see what happens here. Looks like it rotated okay. All right, all 5 rounds went off. Now for the mud.
We're gonna do the Glock 19, same as before. Empty chamber, full magazine, make sure it's seated. Can't say I've ever done this on purpose before. Feels kind of wrong. Really push it down in there. Slop some on top. My hands are going to be disgusting after this one. Flip it around. Do that. Maybe give it a splash in some water.
Ugh.
Yep. Slightly muddy. I'm gonna scrape just enough to so I can hold on to it, maybe. I think we're gonna have a trouble possibly chambering around in this, but let's see. Sorry if the shot's not as good this time. The cameraman decided to take a couple steps back, which I don't blame him because I feel like I'm gonna get covered. Oh God. Okay. Had to force it in a battery there, but I think we're all right. Okay, we got a malfunction. We'll try that. It might be an empty one, but it's failing pretty hard on this one. Ugh. Mag's really stuck in there. Ooh, the magazine's a little sticky. They're not wanting to feed. So that was a live round. I don't know if the mag's gonna feed this one, but ooh. Got a live round in a battery. We'll see if it actually goes that time. Definitely wanted to fight me on that one. Same thing. Looks like a failure to go on a battery. I don't think it's getting much better. We'll try this one. If it doesn't do that, maybe we'll get a little bit of water. Ooh, the trigger hung up on that one. All right. I'll make this clear. We're gonna grab a bottle of water. As you can see, mag's kind of getting sticky. We're gonna give the Glock 19 a little bit of a bath here. Corey, if you just want to run some water on it, I'll try to loosen her up. I think that's all it's gonna take. Let's rinse the mag off a little bit possibly, because it was pretty sticky. I'm almost willing to bet it'll run this time. Ooh, might be eating my words. Oh, that trigger. That trigger's about 15 pounds right now. I think we just got a single shot. It's failure to feed every time. Oh, the trigger's getting heavier. That was failure to eject. Now this is about the worst mud test I can think of, because this thing really does not want to run. That's it. Oh, I'm calling it there. It's locked up completely now, but we're gonna go ahead, make sure this thing's safe. We'll try the revolver next.
Same as before with the revolver. Now is a good time to say, do not do this at home. That's pretty disgusting. Let's see if it'll run. We're gonna do single action only. Ooh.
Okay, locked. Make sure the cylinder's locked. It looks like it's good.
It looks good. Let's hope for the best.
Oh man.
Looks good. Uh-oh.
You want to try to give it a little water like we did the Glock?
Yeah, that thing's seized up.
So, don't know if that's going to help, but I think the trigger is going to be dead too.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's dead. So we got, what, 3 rounds off?
Yeah, before you empty it, let's, with the cylinder open, give it a little bit of a washing.
I think it's that hammer that's...
Yeah, go ahead and close the
Seized up.
cylinder. Try it again. It's probably going to be, there you go.
Let's see what happens. this is stuck.
Cylinder lock stuck. There you
Oh,
go.
there we go. Aha!
I'd say that didn't do too bad.
Probably better than the Glock, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they both took a little bit of water to get running single shot only.
Yeah. This is still dirtier than like most of the testing I've seen
that
done on
other people
revolvers.
do.
Yeah.
And our dirt here also might be a little bit different mix compared to most you see.
Yeah.
This is actually right off of a shooting range, so there could be, you know, lead, copper jacket, stuff like that mixed into this. So
Yeah. Not bad, honestly. So up next, we hear all the time that compensators can hurt you, whether you're shooting from retention or if your thumb is close to the port.
we're going to be using a hot dog as a stand-in. Obviously, it's not similar to your finger, but it'll at least show you a little bit what the blast force is like.
Good?
Shoot another one. One more. There we go.
In my face.
One thing I did notice during that test, the first 2 shots, I held the hot dog up to the side port, had about a 1/2 inch of gap between it and the compensator itself. It didn't really do much. Even standing beside it, I didn't really feel anything coming off of it. The hot dog looked pretty intact. It wasn't until I actually put the hot dog all the way against the port that it affected it, which I would like to see something with a little bit more sustenance to it, like maybe a chicken leg in the future. Other than that, we're gonna test the Revolver next, see how bad it does.
Now we're trying it with a Revolver. This is a 44 mag. The cylinder is a lot closer to your fingers. Let's see what happens. Everybody ready?
Fire in the hole.
Yep.
As you can see, a lot more violent and way closer to your hand.
Yeah.
The next myth is actually one of you guys set in. Does slamming a full magazine on a slide lock gun damage it? So we're gonna use this 1911 to test it. Meow. And as you can see, I'm slamming this thing as hard as I can, but really, this is a full magazine. All you need, slight pressure with your thumb and it actually goes in a battery. Really depends on the gun. Most of the time you're gonna damage the magazine before you damage the gun, but just for giggles, let's try this out.
And the last one we have for you guys is, will a reciprocating slide break your thumb? Let's find out. Okay. Did he not eject that spent round, but my thumb is perfectly fine. Well, we made it to the end of the video. The 320 did not shoot anybody.
If you guys like this content, be sure to leave a comment down below on other myths you want us to test.
Otherwise, if you guys like this video, we'd appreciate a like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Oh my God.
Stupid 320.
Where you hit? Where you hit?
God, my leg.
Here, take my tourniquet. Here, lay down.
No,
Lay down.
no, hold on.